We have to keep moving!
Stay with me, we're almost there!
They're getting closer!
The pounding on Marcus Wilson's door at midnight wasn't just unexpected, it was terrifying. With his 5-year-old daughter Emma asleep upstairs, he approached cautiously, baseball bat in hand. When he opened the door, he found a young woman, maybe 20, shivering despite the summer heat. Her face was bruised, her eyes wild with fear. "Please," she whispered, glancing nervously over her shoulder. "I can't go back there." If you're moved by this story of unexpected connection and second chances, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more stories that remind us of our shared humanity. Marcus hesitated only a moment before stepping aside to let her in. That decision would change both their lives forever. Marcus had been raising Emma alone since his wife's death 3 years ago. At 35, he'd settled into a quiet routine in their modest suburban home, morning cartoons with Emma, his work as a remote software developer, evening walks to the neighborhood park, and bedtime stories. The rhythm of their days was predictable, safe. Until tonight. The young woman's name was Lily Chen. As Marcus handed her a mug of tea, he noticed her hands trembling so badly that the liquid sloshed over the rim. Emma's old stuffed rabbit sat forgotten on the kitchen counter. Marcus had found it under the couch while vacuuming earlier and meant to return it to her room. Without thinking, he passed it to Lily. She clutched it to her chest like a lifeline. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice barely audible. "I didn't know where else to go. I saw your porch light. The family photos through the window. You looked kind." Marcus sat across from her, keeping his distance. "Do you need medical attention? Should I call someone?" Lily shook her head violently. "No police. Please. He'll find me." "Who will find you?" Her eyes filled with tears. "My boyfriend. Ex-boyfriend now, I guess. I finally told him I was leaving, and he..." She gestured vaguely at her face. Marcus felt a surge of anger, followed by uncertainty. He was a single father with a young daughter sleeping upstairs. Taking in a stranger, even one clearly in distress, seemed reckless. Yet something in Lily's eyes reminded him of Emma when she woke from nightmares, that same raw fear, the desperate need for safety. "You can stay tonight," he said finally. "On the couch. We'll figure things out in the morning." The relief that washed over her face made him wonder how long it had been since anyone had shown her kindness. Morning brought complications. Emma, curious and immediately trusting in the way only children can be, took to Lily instantly. "Your face has colors on it," she observed over breakfast. Lily touched her bruised cheek self-consciously. "I had an accident." "Daddy kisses my owies better," Emma informed her solemnly. "Does your daddy kiss your owies?" The question hung in the air. Marcus watched as Lily's expression shifted, something between pain and longing flickering across her face. "My dad lives far away," she said finally. Later, when Emma was distracted with her coloring books, Lily explained in hushed tones. She'd moved to the city for college 2 years ago, met Jason at a party, and things had been good at first. Then came the isolation, subtle at first, then complete. The controlling behavior. The accusations. The first time he hit her, she'd convinced herself it was a one-time mistake. By the third time, she knew better, but by then, he'd convinced her she had nowhere to go. "My parents are in Taiwan. I haven't spoken to them in months. Jason said they were trying to control me, that they didn't respect our relationship." She stared at her hands. "I believed him. I stopped answering their calls. Now I'm too ashamed to reach out." Marcus thought of his own daughter, how he would feel if she disappeared from his life, if someone hurt her. "They would want to know you're safe," he said gently. Lily's eyes filled with tears. "I don't even have my phone. Or my wallet. I just ran." Marcus made a decision then that would alter the course of all their lives. Stay here until you figure things out. The guest room is empty. You'll be safe. The next few days established a tentative routine. Marcus worked from home while Lily, still jumpy at every sound, slowly began to relax around Emma. She helped with dinner, read stories at bedtime, and seemed to find comfort in the simple domestic rhythms of their household. On the fourth day, as they were walking back from the park, a car screeched to a halt beside them. Marcus instinctively pushed Emma behind him as a man leapt out, his face contorted with rage. "There you are, you ungrateful bitch." Jason lunged toward Lily, who froze in terror. Marcus stepped between them. "Back off. Now." "This isn't your business," Jason snarled. "That's my girlfriend." "No, I'm not," Lily's voice shook, but she stood straighter. "It's over, Jason. You think you can just leave? After everything I've done for you?" Jason's eyes darted to Emma, who was clutching Marcus's leg. "Nice little family you found. Does he know what a worthless liar you are?" Marcus felt a cold fury rising in him. "Get back in your car and leave, or I'm calling the police." "She'll come crawling back," Jason sneered. "She always does." But he retreated to his car, pointing at Lily. "This isn't over." That night, after Emma was asleep, Lily packed her few borrowed belongings. "I should go. I've put you both in danger." Marcus leaned against the doorframe of the guest room. "Where will you go?" "I don't know. A shelter maybe." "And then what?" Lily looked lost. "I don't know that either." Marcus thought about the way Emma had blossomed with Lily around, how she'd started talking more, laughing more. How his own house had begun to feel like a home again, filled with conversation and shared meals instead of the quiet efficiency of their previous existence. "Stay," he said simply. "We'll get a restraining order. You can finish your degree. Find your footing." "Why would you do that for a stranger?" Marcus thought about the night his wife died, how the hospital chaplain had sat with him for hours, a complete stranger offering comfort when he needed it most. "Sometimes strangers are just family you haven't met yet," he said. The next weeks weren't easy. Jason violated the restraining order twice. Lily jumped at shadows and woke screaming from nightmares. Marcus worried constantly about Emma's safety. But they adapted. Marcus installed a security system. Lily started therapy. Emma declared that Lily was her best grown-up friend, and insisted she help with bedtime stories every night. Slowly, Lily began to rebuild her life. She contacted her parents, a tearful video call that left her emotionally drained but lighter somehow. She re-enrolled in classes to finish her nursing degree. She found a part-time job at a bookstore that worked around her school schedule. And something unexpected happened. In the quiet moments, washing dishes side by side, watching Emma play at the park, sharing coffee on the porch in the early morning, Marcus and Lily discovered a friendship neither had anticipated. They were two broken people who had somehow found each other at exactly the right moment. 6 months after that midnight knock, Lily found an apartment near campus. "It's time," she told Marcus. "I need to stand on my own." He understood, but Emma was inconsolable. "Why can't Lily stay forever?" she demanded, tears streaming down her face. "Lily needs her own space, sweetheart," Marcus explained. "But she'll visit. She's still our friend." "Promise?" Emma asked Lily. "I promise," Lily said, kneeling to hug her. Over Emma's shoulder, her eyes met Marcus's, and something unspoken passed between them. Lily did visit, for dinner twice a week, for movie nights, for Emma's school performances. And gradually, those visits extended later into the evening. Conversations on the porch stretched past midnight. Casual touches lingered a moment longer than necessary. A year after that first night, Marcus and Lily sat on his porch swing, a comfortable silence between them as they watched fireflies blink in the gathering dusk. I never thanked you properly, Lily said suddenly. For what? For opening your door that night. For seeing me as someone worth helping. Marcus turned to look at her, really look at her. The bruises were long gone. Her eyes, once haunted, now held a quiet confidence. You saved us too, you know, he said. Emma and me. We were just going through the motions before you came. Lily's hand found his on the swing between them. I used to think my life ended the night I ran from Jason. Now I know it was just beginning. When they kissed for the first time, it felt like coming home. 2 years later, Lily graduated with her nursing degree. Marcus and Emma cheered the loudest when she walked across the stage. That night, as they celebrated with a picnic in the backyard, Marcus got down on one knee. We're already a family, he said, holding out a ring. This would just make it official. Emma bounced with excitement. Say yes. Say yes. Lily looked at them both, this man and child who had saved her in every way a person could be saved, and felt tears of joy spill down her cheeks. Yes, she whispered. 1,000 times yes. They were married in a small ceremony in the backyard where they'd shared so many moments. Emma served as flower girl and best daughter, as she insisted on being called. Lily's parents flew in from Taiwan, the reconciliation complete as her father walked her down the aisle. During their vows, Marcus spoke of second chances and unexpected blessings. Lily spoke of courage and finding home in another person's heart. There wasn't a dry eye in attendance. 5 years to the day after that midnight knock, they sat on the same porch swing, watching Emma and her little brother play in the yard. The boy, just learning to walk, toddled after his big sister with determined concentration. Do you ever think about how different our lives would be if I hadn't knocked on your door that night? Lily asked, her head resting on Marcus's shoulder. Or if I hadn't answered, he replied, squeezing her hand. They sat in comfortable silence, watching their children play in the golden afternoon light. Their path hadn't been easy, Lily still occasionally woke from nightmares, and Marcus sometimes struggled with the fear of losing another person he loved. But they had built something beautiful from the broken pieces of their past. I'm glad you knocked, Marcus said finally. And I'm even more glad you stayed. Lily smiled, thinking of the frightened young woman she'd been and the journey that had brought her here. Sometimes the darkest nights lead us to the brightest dawns, she said softly. As the sun set on their little family, casting long shadows across the yard, they remained on the porch swing, two people who had found each other in their darkest moments and chosen, day after day, to walk toward the light together. Sometimes salvation comes in unexpected forms, a midnight knock, an open door, a moment of courage, an act of kindness. And sometimes, if we're brave enough to reach for it, we find not just safety but love, not just shelter but home. If this story touched your heart, please like and subscribe for more content that celebrates the resilience of the human spirit and the families we create along the way. Remember that sometimes the most beautiful chapters of our lives begin with the moments that first appear to be our darkest.